Well, good morning and welcome back to our fabulous final segment here on CityLine. I have the Tacoma Guitar Festival. So please join me in welcoming Tom Alexander. You are the booking manager for the Tacoma Dome, but also a big fan of this Tacoma Guitar Festival.
We love guitars, yeah.
We do love guitars.
That's right.
It's kind of like one of those things with me. If you don't have an animal or love animals, I don't want to know you. The same with a guitar. If you don't like a guitar, I really don't want to know you.
Yeah,
Or food, for that matter. Mr. Bruce Adolph, welcome back.
Well, thank you.
You are the co-promoter of the Tacoma Guitar Festival. How you sleeping these days?
Well, you know, it's a big job. It's like herding cats. We have over 100 exhibitors, vendors coming in, and Tom does all the artist stuff. He works hard at that too, and we're doing all the marketing. But it's a blast. I love what I do. I get up every morning, and it's a gift when you love what you do.
It is, and you make it look really easy because those
thank you.
details can really trip you up, can't they? Speaking of a lovely detail, Mr. Carl Tosten, performing musician at the Tacoma Guitar Festival. Welcome, Carl.
Well, thank you very much.
Good to have you here. I cannot wait to learn about you and also to hear you play, which is always such a gift. So Tom, for more than 34 years, the Tacoma Dome has hosted, we're talking world top touring artists, hundreds of community events. It's slated to get over 30 million in renovations. So let's talk about these improvements first off.
Yeah, it's the fifth anniversary, which is actually the first day of the Guitar Fest, April 21st. We're replacing all the seats with a fan-friendly, more leg room. We're getting new bathrooms.
You mean the ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk seats are gone?
No more seats in the back parking lot. So we're replacing all the seats with about 6 more inches of leg room, replacing bathrooms, adding bathrooms.
Wow.
You name it. And loading docks for more production-friendly purposes, but we've listened to all the people's comments over the years and making all those changes, so it's going to be incredible.
So in addition to helping us feel more comfortable and taking care of us, then it's also, that gets better, but in addition, what happens on the stage also gets better. What's coming up?
Well, we have Justin Timberlake, Shania Twain, Maroon 5, Chris Young, and a ton of announcements that we haven't even...
They're secrets.
Yeah, exactly.
You'd have to kill me.
Very shortly, we're going to have some huge announcements.
I love that. Well, let's talk about Carl. Carl, give me some background on you. First off, how long have you been playing guitar?
Oh man, it's like, check out the white sideballs here. So it's been a long time. I've been playing for over 40 years.
Oh my gosh. So did you come from a musical family?
Yeah, my dad was a guitarist. His dad was a violinist. So,
wow.
Kind of the long lineage, and I got into the guitar, and of course, right at the heyday of the metal bands and the hair metal and all these guys, and so we had to go through that. Never wore spandex though, so I can say that with great pride that I never wore spandex.
So do you have memories of your father playing the guitar when you were little and you touching the frets and turning the keys?
Well, more my memories of him was listening to him play with my head. I would lay it on his foot while he was tapping out time. So that was my earliest remembrances were just doing that, and of course fascinated with guitar, everything. I wanted to touch it. So he had to get me a plastic one so I didn't destroy his vintage harmony. So.
One of those My Dog Has Fleas ones.
No, it was actually a real guitar, but it was plastic, and of course I made short work of it.
I bet you did.
It was pretty hard on stuff.
So what brought you to this festival?
Well, they kind of reached out to me, and I do things for Yamaha guitars. And
I hear you're a big wig for Yamaha because...
not really a big wig.
Bruce told me you were.
Well, if I call half those people, they don't take my calls. So I don't know how much of a big wig.
Okay, so you're a small wig.
Yeah. So they reached out to me, and I thought it was about time that here we have this great resource, which is the Tacoma Dome. And, I'm from Seattle, and there's just nothing going on. There is nothing, and I think to myself, all these other guitar shows that are going on around the country, why don't we have one here? And bam. So
And
these
you
guys,
did,
these guys
absolutely.
have it.
So this is the 4th year of this Tacoma Dome Festival, Bruce. So how did this event get started?
Well, I was doing another event called the CTAC Guitar Show at the Maidenbauer Center in Bellevue, and we ran out of space. And just then, Tom reached out to me, and he had moved from the Dallas area to work here for the booking manager job at the Tacoma Dome. And in Dallas, there's a very large, well-known guitar festival called the Dallas International Guitar Festival. So Tom says, Bruce, I thought you just wanted to rent me the building. And he said, no, we want to really partner and build something big and great for the Northwest. So I said, I'm on my way. We had a meeting, and now it's our 4th year. Here it goes.
Wow.
It's pretty exciting.
Well done. Reeled him in, baby.
The town needs it. I mean, we were talking about this earlier. Tacoma is such a musical town.
Yes,
I mean,
they are.
It needs this sort of event.
I mean, we do guitars here. I mean, you know, Joe Reggio, we do guitars here. So what are some of the activities happening at this event, Mr. Bruce?
Well, we've got the main stage with some very well-known players, and then we've got 100 vendor booths. So you can come in, you pay $15 at the door, you walk in, and you can go through you can bring a guitar to sell if you want to, or try to trade. And we've just got, it's the largest gathering of the guitar community in the Northwest all year. Wow. So it's kind of like a high school reunion for some people, because you go and see friends you haven't seen in a while. You get to play guitars you might have played in your youth. You might be a family looking for a good guitar for your kids.
Or a teacher.
Yeah, anybody, yeah.
Boy, that's truly a one-stop, isn't it?
But now if you have an old guitar underneath your bed, pull it out and bring it, because we have a lot of guys that like to buy vintage instruments too. So feel free to carry it in.
I bet. So let's talk about some of the artists that are performing, because that's the other piece of that education. So who's performing?
We got John Five, David Ellefson from Megadeth, Paul Reed Smith in person will be there. He's one of the greatest electric guitar makers alive right now. Trevor Gordon Hall, of course, Carl Tosten, Daniel Walker from New Zealand, and Will McFarlane.
Wow, I love that. So, Carl, we know the story about how you got involved, but let's talk about how many years have you been at this festival?
3 years now. This
3
will be
years
my
now.
third. This will be my 3rd year. Yeah, I didn't do the first one. In fact, it was kind of one of those deals where I found out after the fact, and I'm like, well, how come I'm not playing there?
How come they didn't call me? I'm a big wig.
So I just found out where they lived, and I left them both a little present, and either I'm there next year or.
Yeah, and then you wrote a song about them, didn't you?
No, I didn't do that, but
that would have been the next step. So, you had heard about the festival and obviously thought, this is for me. I've got to get involved with this.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and here you are.
Yeah, and then I got obviously Yamaha involved, and so we've got a big booth there. It's a big prominent booth as you walk in, so you got to come by and try out all the guitars.
Oh, lovely story. Great partnerships in this event. Yeah. So what's the ticket price for the event, Bruce?
Well, it's $15 for one day, or you can get a group 2-day pass for $25. It's free parking, which is always great to have.
Nice.
And then kids 12 and under are free as well, when accompanied by, of course, a guardian or adult type person.
Excellent.
Yeah.
And what are some of the vendors? Give us a little taste. If we have a favorite vendor, who are we going to see?
Well, I wouldn't say favorite, because I'm the guy that brings them all in. So
They're all favorites.
Here's the deal. We got Yamaha's a big one, a big
Yes.
platinum sponsor. And we've got Paul Reed Smith, we've got Fender, we've got local companies. Lawler Pickups is going to be there, and TV Jones. But all the major retailers around there, and the vintage side and the new guitars. Mike and Mike's Guitar Store, Emerald City, Guitar Maniacs. We've got Thunder Roads, American Music, all the big stores around. Ted Brown, of course, big one in Tacoma, the big supporters. So it's a neat melding of private collectors, of guys that have had just too much stuff. They want to come and sell it,
There we go.
Those guys. And then we've got vintage collectors, and then new products and luthiers, like you mentioned Joe Reggio and his fine instruments. I'll have one of those in my booth to show people, and good stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so give us one event we can look forward to before Carl gets to play us out.
At the Tacoma Dome, generally speaking, well, Justin Timberlake doing 2 nights is just really
Talk about a showman.
It's going to be incredible.
Yeah, he puts on a show like nobody else.
And not many people can sell 2 nights at the Tacoma Dome.
No, they can't, and that's a big space. So, Mr. Timberlake, it is. All right, so you, Mister, let's get yourself ready to go here, because I'm going to say goodbye to our guests, and then you're going to play us out. How's that?
Sounds good.
All right. Well, that does wrap up another great segment of CityLine. It is always a pleasure and a privilege to be in your home. We've given you some really great things to think about in this last hour, so please go out there, be a part of the tapestry, and pay it forward. And when you come back, as always, we'll be waiting for you right here at CityLine. Take care. All right, Carl, take it away.